Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here to talk about a short story. When I was taking World War II film and literature back in 2013, we read an Irwin Shaw novel called The Young Lions. Later on, I picked up a collection of his short stories, which is Irwin Shaw Short Stories 5 Decades, which is a collection of his many short stories that he published, and be it in collections or in a various amount of magazines. And the short story that I'm going to be talking about today is Borough, Cemeteries, which was originally published in the New Yorker during the issue that was released on August 13th, 1938, which enthusiasts for the New Yorker seem to be able to remember the dates that certain works were released in any given issue. I was subscribed to the New Yorker back in 2019, but I just wish that they published more fiction, short stories, fiction. They used to do 2 or 3 of them. Now they generally, unless it's a very rare occasion, they only publish 1. If they went back to doing 2 or 3 short stories per issue, I would probably be more likely to resubscribe to the magazine. But as far as Borough Cemeteries is concerned, it follows a group of cab drivers that go and meet at a bar and grill in Brooklyn called Lemanowitz's. And some of the characters include Elias Pinsker, who is the central character on the basis that we pay the most attention to him, but he also seems to warrant the most attention because he is very abrasive, he's loud, he's self-immersed, he's somewhat self-centered, he's very confrontational. He regrets having gotten married because he has nothing but negative things to say about his wife, and how he likes to breed pigeons up on his roof, but when he doesn't come home with enough money, she cooks and serves one of them for dinner. But at the very beginning, Elias pushes Pinky around because he decides that he needs to pay with credit, when in actuality he does carry money around, but he doesn't want to pay it off until an undisclosed, indefinite time. Hopefully, he's hoping that by eventually Pinky's not going to care, but that's not how it goes necessarily. But Elias interacts with an Italian cab driver. His name is Angelo Palagino. He is very easily influenced. He's not rowdy the way that Elias is, but Elias instigates him, so he gets riled up on that basis. But initially he doesn't have a great outlook or impression on Brooklyn, but Elias reminds him that where he came from, it was a heck of a lot worse. So he's very easily swayed. He's very easily influenced. But there is also an Irish cab driver, and these are immigrants from other countries coming to America. His name is Geary. We don't really know much else about him aside from what others say about him, because he doesn't... The way that he brings things up, it's either he has a scornful remark to make, or he's responding to the the mischief that's going on as far as Elias and Angelo's, what they have to say is concerned. But while he approaches with reason, he's also very impatient with them, and he also engages in a derogatory slur toward Angelo, which back then they used the term "wop" to that was a name that they gave to Italian immigrants because it was an acronym for "without papers," and people would question the legitimacy of several immigrants, but Italian immigrants were often viewed the same way that there are people that view Mexican immigrants. But this was released in 1938, so this is a pretty aged story. It does speak a lot about the period of time, because they are talking back to 1927, 1928, where they felt that they were in a much better condition and they were getting paid much more. But come the Great Depression, the value of money drastically crashed, and money in general was harder to come by. But this story is also driven by their frustrations. There is that sense that they're there to drink, they're there to get drunk, they're there to vent, and you just see them going off. But that really goes to show you, it gives a voice to those that are often and frequently overlooked. It's a very interesting insight into the cab drivers of the streets of Brooklyn getting together and sharing their stories, even though they're really not listening to one another. You have to take what Elias has to say and process that. Then you have to take what Angelo has to say and process that. We don't even get to hear what Geary has to say. But I think that the way that it's set up, it's very authentic as far as their backgrounds and their language is concerned. But lending to the title Borough Cemeteries, these cab drivers are very tired, they're agitated, they're exhausted. They spend most of their days working just to get a decent amount of food on their table. Angelo does not live in very good conditions. He just about lives in a shack. But Elias is just hoping he doesn't have to eat one of his pigeons for dinner. So we definitely get a sense of their anger, which leads up to Elias and Angelo taking it out in what they call a chicken fight, where they just take their cabs and ram them into one another, and they feel that that's going to stick it to the person that owns the cab company. But it really leads to nowhere. And I think the title Borough Cemeteries, Pelagio's the one that makes mention to it on page 13 of this collection. It would probably be the first page of the magazine entry. But he says that Brooklyn is the borough of cemeteries. This is a first-class place for graveyards, which these people are just working themselves to the point of death. But I think they're being conditioned in the way that they're merely there to serve their purpose, not determined by them, but determined by society. and they want to make it somewhere. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's in the cards, especially immediately. We have no idea what's going to happen beyond this point. I know that when they had the chicken fight, Geary was not happy. He was just disgusted by their behavior. He felt that they should have taken a more reasonable approach, such as joining the Union. You can see that they're making reckless choices and driving themselves into the ground, possibly leading to death, because there could have been, if Elias and Angelo, if something wrong took place in their chicken fight, both of them could have possibly been killed. But these reckless decisions and inconsistencies could lead to something more dangerous. I think that while one is going to scratch their head, and I would say even I would scratch my head at what direction is the story going, I think that it gives voice to those that have difficulty finding one. And I think that when you look at it from that angle, you are able to develop a greater understanding for what Shaw is trying to get at with this piece, and provide an outlook on the citizens of this country at this time that were not as well-to-do and were not as well established and were looking to get established, but had difficulty finding the route to get to that point, and it led to that sense of hopelessness. I think this was a very interesting read. I wouldn't say it's my favorite short story that I've ever read, but I think it's something that I'm glad that I was able to pick up at this time, and I've been looking to read something by Irwin Shaw for quite a period of time. This story can be found in Short Stories from 5 Decades. Here is Irwin Shaw on the back. But you can also find, you could probably look into the New Yorker archives, and if you look at the August 13th, 1938 issue, you'll find it there as well. But I want to thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos from this channel, and for now, keep reading.